What if I told you that one small pen in one powerful hand could change history? Look closely. This isn't just a pen on a table. This is the pen that signed Juneteenth into national law. A moment that began in silence, ended with a signature felt around the world. But the real story? It didn't start in the White House. It started with a woman named Ms. Opal Lee, a fierce soul with gentle eyes who refused to let America forget a chapter of its past.
This is the pen that President Biden used to sign Juneteenth into law. I'm Opal Lee, and I've had this marvelous day at the White House. The young people would say, it's off the chain.
That pen didn't just sign paper, it sealed a promise. A promise that freedom delayed would no longer be freedom denied. For millions of Americans, that signature meant long overdue recognition.
I knew I was coming because Juneteenth had been made a national holiday, and the president was signing the bill into law, and I was invited to the signing of that bill.
Looking out across this room, I see the advocates, the activists, the leaders who have been calling for this day for so long, including the one and only Miss Opal Lee.
This moment is electric, but it's not just about celebration. It's about restoration. Ms. Opal lived through a time when Juneteenth was barely acknowledged. Now she's witnessing its rise into the national light.
Over the course of decades, she's made it her mission to see that this day came. She's walked for miles and miles, literally and figuratively, to bring attention to Juneteenth, to make this day possible.
You cannot imagine how joyful, how humble, how magnificent the whole thing has been. There may be some of you who don't know what Juneteenth is. The enslaved in Texas were told they were free for 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation freed them. They'd watch in their churches and they'd pray for freedom to come. And it finally did, when General Gordon Granger and 7,000 colored troops from New Jersey and New York made their way to Galveston, Texas. And he read General Order Number 3 that said, all slaves are free.
Picture this. Black soldiers wearing Union blues, arriving not just as fighters, but as liberators, delivering the very freedom their ancestors had been denied.
When those people came in from their labor and somebody read that to them, we started celebrating, and we've been celebrating ever since.
That first celebration was sacred. It wasn't about parades or fireworks. It was about breathing free for the first time. That joy became a tradition of strength, family, and legacy. And that's the message that hits home. Juneteenth belongs to all of us. Because the story of freedom is not just African American history, it's American history. Ms. Opal didn't just talk about freedom, she walked for it. Over 1,400 miles at age 89. Her steps were sermons. Her feet were the drums of justice. Change never happens because of just one person. It takes a village, a movement. What you're seeing is the fruit of years of labor, protests, petitions, and perseverance.
Juneteenth is not a Texas thing. It's not a black thing. We're talking about freedom for everyone.
On May 3, 2024, Opal Lee was awarded by President Biden the highest honor given to a U.S. civilian, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Because of one day and with one pen, a new chapter began.